Okay ladies, welcome to our second layout. This is a beachy, romantic wedding layout, and it's done with 49 Market's Vintage Artistry Natural Collection. Hi, I'm saying hi to you there. So this would have to be one of my favourite collections. Absolutely love it. So I had to use it today for you. So starting off, in your kit you'll have a page called Gilded and another called Ecology, which I'm showing you here. And I decided to use Gilded as the actual base background page. I'm just here trying to figure out actually what I want to use. But Ecology, so if you'd like, you can all trim your barcodes from your papers. Keep them because some of them have got some really nice pretty patterns on them. I'm using the Ecology for the matting of my photos, and as you'll see as I go through here, there's no really, I don't do measurements. I just use my photo as a guide to cut around, and I am not particular actually with my matting. I just do a few different pieces that sit behind the actual photo. I also, as you will see here, like to sand the edges of my photo. This will give you another lot of framework. Using a sanding block I find the best, and I always lift my photo to do the sanding. I also like to distress the matte for my photo. All my layers I like to distress, and I also like to add a little bit more dimension. So you can do this using your foam tapes. I often just use old chipboard pieces that I have from my dusty attic, as you see there, and I just cut them up. Most times I just use several pieces with some adhesive clear drying glue on the back of my photo and my mats. So use your Ecology, cut as many mats as you like, and layer up the back of your photo. Pretty simple. And the other thing I like to do is to curl the edges of my distressed papers, just to give them another element of shabbiness. So I'm just deciding here that I want to put another few layers behind my photo. Very indecisive girl I am. I'll change my mind again after this, you watch. Okay. And as you'll see there, the second layer that I have, it doesn't actually go around my first mat or the photo. It doesn't have to. It is just another layer. It's another layer of interest. So don't get caught up in that everything's got to be you know, equal and precise. So some more chipboard just to give dimension. And like, you may have your foam tapes there, so by all means use them. I often think that the board is a lot better to use. It gives the photo a lot more of a sturdiness, keeps it flat and together. Whereas you use the foam tapes, if you only use a few pieces here and there, you'll get that divots in your photo, and you don't really want that. Okay, so moving along here, I'm going to just prime my background page, which is, of course, gilded, and I'm using the B-side. Product I'm using here is Liquitex Clear. It has to be the clear gesso for your background paper. I love, love, love this product. It is one thing that I think everyone should have in their collection when they start mixed media. I always use a palette knife with it. This avoids wastage of the product. Using sponge brushes just soaks up all the product, and then you wash it down the sink when you go and rinse it out. So use a palette knife, and then you can wipe back any excess that you have back into your bottle. And you'll see here I've done 2 coats. I always like to do 2 coats just to ensure that I've covered my paper. You don't need a lot. Be very, very sure that you don't use too much. I don't ever dry mine off either. I just put it to the side. You'll notice that it dries very quickly. So I'll finish that off, put it to the side, and then we'll move along. And here I'm just dipping. So you'll have in your kits a length of cheesecloth. I had a cup of coffee sitting next to my desk, so of course without milk, so I've just dipped it in that, taken it back out, and I'll dry it with a heat gun. Further down the track in this class, we'll colour it again with some of the pigments that you will be supplied with from Michelle during this class. The pigments are from Couture Creations, and they're just a great, I think they're a great addition to a mixed media kit. Great to add colours, very simple, no liquids involved, no spillage, so it's a great thing just to take along even if you go to retreats or that sort of thing. So here I'm just going to dry it off a little bit more, and then I'm going to start just figuring out where I'm going to start putting everything. I'm adding in some pencil marks, and then I'm going to show you some stencils, some new release stencils from Dusty Attic. This one is Flourish. Oh my goodness, I love this. And this is the Marrakesh Trellis, but I decided to go with the Flourish. And of course in your kit you'll have, I've pulled out the stash that I was going to use. So you'll get these goodies in your kit from Michelle. The 49er Market Archival boards. I'm pretty sure I used every piece from this sheet. So you'll pull them all out, just put them to the side, keep them in a safe place. These guys are just fantastic. Now there's a front and back to them obviously. The back has the burn off from the laser. The other thing you'll have is these beautiful flowers. These are the Seaside Blooms in cotton. And in that pack you'll find this paper rope. Now I'm going to show you today how to use that paper rope in a different way. You'll see a lot of people just put the framework over their photos, so we're going to bend it into shape and make a love heart out of it. But first we're going to add some texture to the paper using this gorgeous, gorgeous Flourish stencil and Crackle paste. So Crackle paste I've used here, but it works very, very well. And you can see there that I've just wiped off a little bit of excess Crackle with my baby wipe. You've primed the background now, so anything you drop in there you can wipe straight off with the baby wipe. Be careful not to rub too hard, of course, because you're just going to rub it straight off. But and you'll probably break the paper, but just a light wipe will remove any excess that you don't want. So I've worked over my paper in the left hand corner and out, and I've left the right hand corner free. I like to always leave a corner free in my project. This lets the eye move to where it needs to be, which is your photo, obviously. So what we'll do here is we'll just add in a little bit more of the Crackle through the stencil. I don't usually like to dry my Crackle. I believe that you'll get a better result if you let it dry on its own accord. Of course, we're in a class today, so that may not be possible. But even if you let it just touch dry a little, that is better than drying it from wet. I'm going to put down my photo now using a clear adhesive, and I'm showing you the paper rope that we're going to use. Would suggest that if you've got a heat gun, that you turn it on to heat up now. Now I'm going to show you here how we're going to colour the background paper. Oh no, we're not. We're going to add a little layer of chipboard because there's not enough dimension. You've got to make sure you've got enough dimension. So I'm just trying to see where everything's going to go on my project here, obviously. From your archival board, there's quite a few elements. I think I've used most of them in this project. And what we're going to do here is I'm simply going to show you how you use the pigment powder. All you need to do is spray a small amount into a palette and dip your brush. You only need a small amount of powder to a small amount of water. This will activate it, and you can just paint it on those leaves that are in the archival board. I've done this very randomly. It doesn't have to be a complete coat. I'm not about full coverage, but that's entirely up to you. If you want to give it full coverage, by all means you can do that. So I think there's 4 pieces of the ferns in that archival board. So here you'll see I've started to add in the pigment over the Flourish with the Crackle. The Crackle is just beautiful with the pigment. So once you start adding those pigment colours in, it'll accentuate the Crackles and your Flourish, and it'll outline it more. So here I am, I'm just giving it a little bit more of a dry because I don't like to dry it, as I said before, too much. But at this stage, it's a lot drier than what it would have been at the very start. Of course, my video I've had to speed up because I'm the slowest scrapper in the world, let me tell you. Okay, so what you need to do, ladies, is first get yourself a spray bottle of water and add the spray water to your page before you actually add in the pigment powder. This is the best way I find to do it, and you'll see that the pigment powder will move on its own accord then. So the other thing that Michelle will have for you is the Couture Creations powder pigments in the pink. And even though you can't see it on the video here, I did add some at some stage, and you can't really see it on the layout, but on the video, of course, but you can see it in real life. So this is an extra that you can add to your layout. I didn't add a lot, of course, just some small sections, but you might want to use the pink and not the copper. You might want to use both, and you might just want to use the pink. So that, again, is entirely up to you. And this is what you're going to do through this next part. you. So I'll give you a bit more music. So this is the largest flower from the Seaside Blooms. I pull them in half to make them go further, especially if, you know, I've got limitations sometimes on how much I can use. But also those flowers are quite big, so I'll bend them over and tuck them under the photo as well. So here you'll see I've put that flower at the corner. I'm hot gluing it in, and I've just run a piece of that muslin over the top of the middle of it. So yeah, and here I am, I'm showing you, see, I tell you, so sidetracked. Now I'm going back to the pink. I'm adding, I told you there was pink pigment here, so it's only a little bit, it's not a lot, but it can be seen, and it's quite pretty, the pink, I find. So yeah, use a little bit of that on your layout too if you like. So I will give you a little bit more music and you just can keep watching. Okay. piece out. But I'm going to show you how to use the rope in a different kind of a way. We're going to frame the photo. So Michelle will have a template in your kit for you. And as you see, I'm just sort of laying it out over the template. And what I find easiest is to cut a section that will fit one half of the heart and then using my heat gun, I'm going to glue the 2 points together at the top. Now, you're not going to be able to use this a clear dry adhesive because you really want it straight away, and it's going to have to be quite rigid. So use your heat gun. Don't do as I do and put your fingers on the hot glue. I've got Teflon fingers, so yeah, that's your first point. So do that. Once the hot glue's dried, cut away any of the excess and put it back on your outline of your heart. And the other thing I find that helps is if you twist the rope, that will bring it together a lot more. Sometimes the ropes aren't twisted enough. It'll just tighten the paper because it is made from paper. I think I kind of do it here, but I'll let you watch. Okay, so here I'm just adding the hot glue in amongst the rolls of the paper. That's what actually does hold it together better. Because some of the ropes are, as I just said, aren't as twisted as others, and some are more twisted, and some have got more glue on them because they're all handmade, so they're all different. So I'll leave you with this, and you'll see that now I'm hot gluing the bottom part. I've run out of glue stick, so I'm trying to do everything all at once, but just take your time. There you go. I've glued it to the template, but that's okay. It comes off easily enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this over the photo of my husband and I on our wedding day. here we've done the heart shape, so you glue that over the top of your photo. I had a little bit left of the rope left, but you'll see that I've just put it coming out of either side of the flourishes of the flowers there. And also the other thing that you should note is that the part where I was saying before, we skipped a part. Now with your linen flowers, the brown flowers in your packs, I changed the colour of these, and how I did that was I added some clear gesso over the top of the flower, and then I coloured them with the pigment pearls. So if you don't like the colour of the linen, you can, and you want a little bit more shimmer to it, you can do that as well. You could also change it up to the pink with the white. You could add the pigment to the white flowers. It's not going to work on your linen, of course. That'll be a bit too much work, but yes, of course you can add accents of pink to the white. But that's another step there that I must have missed out somewhere along the line. So by all means, change up the colour of those linen flowers, and I'll just make them look really pretty as well. But be careful and make sure you use white gesso firstly to prime your flowers, otherwise they may get a little bit warped from the water. to start adding in some of the archival elements. So really all you need to do for this part of it, I've cut some of the script words from the archival pack into smaller pieces, and I've laid them amongst the clusters of the flowers. And I've also done the same with the border piece and the little hatchet or crisscross Marrakesh trellis part that we have there also. And here I'm showing you, I've got some walnut stain. So I coloured a few of them up a little bit. I've just rubbed the ink pad over the top of them just to give it a little bit more colour. Of course, you can still leave them white. That's entirely up to you. You can add the pigment powder to them or the pink. I've cut some of those sections into little bits. So I've just made them work around my layout. So I'll let you watch the rest of this. This is the fun part of it, so I hope you enjoy the rest of this. this part of the video where I decide that I'm going to cut up my chipboards a little bit more. And there are elements in your kit also that you will need to add to your layout. Some of them are the shells. And you will also see here that I keep moving the rope. So, you know, this is something, if you don't want to add it in, you don't have to add it in, but use as many of those elements that you've got in your pack. They're there to be used. So, yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this class. This is just a pretty simple mixed media layout, but I think it's got some techniques in there that, you know, are helpful. And I'll let you watch the rest of my creative process. And thank you for joining, and thank you for buying these kits. And I'll say goodbye from here. Bye.